So I just woke up, and just like most good poker players, when you're on your day off and you wake up, you go check the social media feeds, which is what I did today. And I found the bad news out that a fellow Michigander poker player, pro poker player, Mr. Kapoor, has taken his own life. So this is Life of a Grinder Serious Edition, I guess, if you want to call it that. I literally just got out of the shower. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do an episode on suicide awareness, but I think it's important enough that it's a topic we should all talk about, because it's something that poker players joke about. And if you haven't figured it out yet, I don't script any of my Life of a Grinder stuff. It's just me telling you what's going on in my mind. So I just found out Mr. Kapoor took his life, and I wasn't sure if I was going to do a soliloquy or a Life of a Grinder episode based on it. It hits close to home. Not that anybody in my family's ever committed suicide, but I posted on Twitter, as you guys might know. You guys have seen my tattoo plenty of times from watching my vlog. If you're curious what that tattoo is on my right wrist, and I am right-handed, so I look at it all the time. It's a kitty cat with a semicolon. Semicolon is a suicide awareness. Lots of people who struggle with life at some point, I think, contemplate suicide. Perception is your reality, and in this life, this dimension that we're in right now, this existence that we're all existing in at the same time currently, like, it's precious. It really is. You know, I had, for those of you who don't know, I had a bankruptcy back in 2009. I think I've told most of you that most poker players go broke once or twice. So, yeah, I had a bankruptcy back in 2009. I also had an issue with debating on taking my own life at one point. So, people have said to me before, Josh, they said, you're really easy to talk to. And you seem like you have a lot of life experience. And this is why I tell people, yeah, I coach you as a poker player, but I also coach you in life. Is because suicide's a serious topic. Now it's starting to rain really hard. My daughter suggested this tattoo. Both my wife, my daughter, and myself have the same matching tattoo. And it is on suicide awareness. And I think that there's a lot of people who struggle with being suicidal. I know my own child has struggled with that from time to time. I know myself have struggled with that from time to time. It's not something I struggle with anymore, but it's something I certainly struggled with many years ago. Early on in your career as a poker player, when you go broke, you contemplate suicide. It happens. And it's important that you have people around you that are going to care about you and love you no matter what. I think that's an important feature to have as a new poker player. I guess if I was talking to a new poker player who was in his 20s, or she was in her 20s, saying, I'm going to be a poker player, can you give me some advice? Life is hard. You're going to go broke. You're going to contemplate suicide. You're going to have a discussion with yourself at some point. I don't know if all poker players do that. I don't want to say they do. I don't think they do. For me, I look at things from a logical perspective. So when I have conversations with myself, I look at it from a devil's advocate perspective, just to argue within myself so I can see what makes the most logical sense. That's just how my brain works. I know it sounds weird. You're a young poker player. You're in your 20s, and I know that's not my biggest group that watches me. The biggest group that watches me is Gen Xers, people who are somewhere between 35 and 50. Or I guess Gen Xers, I'm 44, so I think Gen Xers are 41 to 47 specifically, because we're a mini generation. But the most people that watch me is between 35 and 50. But for all of you under 35-year-olds who are thinking about starting a poker career and doing it for a living, if you said, what advice can you give me from the professor? I would tell you it's going to be tough. That the lows sometimes are lower than the highs. And you have to find the highs in the middle ground. You have to find the nights where you play for 20 hours and you lose $20 or you lose $180. You have to find the excitement in, I'm so glad I only lost $180. Like, either you were stuck $6,000 at one point or stuck 8,000 at one point and you just dug yourself out of a hole. You know, I mean, I've been there. I had a night where I had one of my longest poker sessions ever. I'm playing 5-5-10 at MGM Detroit. Bought in for, I can't remember, I think like $2,000. And within like 4 hours, I have 8,000 in front of me. Over the next, I want to say 14 hours, I lose that 8,000 that was in front of me, plus another 6,000. And so now I'm in the game for $10,000. I'm down $8,000. And I remember when I pulled out that other $2,000, I debated on rebuying. And I said to myself, you fucking idiot, you dug yourself in this hole. You're going to sit here until you dig yourself out. I stopped playing at 36 hours when I had $10,000 back in front of me again. Oh. I ended up having a 36-hour session. I ended up being up like $172. And I felt like that $5 hourly average for working almost a whole week's worth of work that a normal blue-collared person would work, that I just did in the last 36 consecutive hours. I was so beat. I think I slept 12 hours in my Airbnb. It was like one of the most uncomfortable Airbnbs, super in the ghetto in downtown Detroit. I've got like $25,000 on me, you know, and fuck, you could hear the people next door watching their TV, and upstairs and downstairs and the other people next door. Yeah, but you're gonna have those bobits where you find the happy medium, you find the exciting moments with the middle ground, you know, the time where you grind all the time. Like, you know, you don't think that, not given my net worth, can handle downswings, because I've been doing this for a while and I've made solid investments with my winnings. But how do you think I felt after losing $35,000 in Las Vegas this year? Jesus. Like, I joked with Wayne that, you know, minimum wage would beat my average hourly this year. And you have to find a happy medium on that. You have to just be like, I guess it could be worse. You know, but you also have to look at the opportunities that I've had. And the year ain't over, baby. I've got opportunities coming up. We have stuff going on at the Venetian. We have meetup games coming up. I have a book that's published on Amazon now, which is awesome. How Not to Get Scooped. You can order it for yours for $30. I'll do a little plug while I'm having this serious moment with all of the young, with all of you. Yeah. If you're thinking about playing poker for a living, it's hard. It's tough. It's not glamorous. The shit you see on vlogs where people are glamour and glory and laughing and having a good time is bullshit. The one kid Corey Ewing, where he loses his bankroll and then he has to borrow money in order to play. That shit's kind of real, but he does it a little bit more degen because it makes good YouTube videos. So he's getting his rake back, if you will, from the viewers, which is amazing. The kid's a genius. I love it. Because when he finally figures out how to play poker, and he figures out, hey, maybe I shouldn't be playing these 5-5, 10 games or these 10-25 games with 2 or 3 pros at the table. Maybe I should be picking games that are softer. When he does that, that's called grinding for a living. What he's doing right now, though, for YouTube views is great. I mean, because when he does go back and start crushing 1-3 games, which he can do, and crush 2-5 games, which he can do, he'll be experiencing the true life of a poker player. But having that extra revenue from YouTube obviously helps a lot. And for those of you who are curious, my YouTube revenue is like maybe $100 to $200 a month. It's not very much. I'm not making bank on YouTube. No. But, yeah, talking to young poker players, it's going to be hard. The glamour and the glory that you see, traveling, there's going to be traveling. You know, there's going to be tough times. But I guess what I would say, I consider him one of my very first students, is he found a spot where he could grind and build a bankroll before he traveled. So if you're in an area that has like a 15-30 or a 20-40 limit game that goes like twice a week, you can build a bankroll off of that. Just with a matter of, like, even if you start off with $5,000 and you're playing a 15-30 game. I mean, you might want to have more than that, but you get my general gist that that's the game that's going to build a bankroll. And he did. He played that MGM Omaha round by round Hold'em Omaha game for 6 months until he built up a bankroll of, let's just call it 30 to 50,000, because I don't ask people specifically what their bankrolls are. It's kind of a dick question. And by the way, Elkie, yes, Elkie, don't ever ask fucking Barry Greenstein. I can't pronounce his name. Don't ever ask Barry Greenstein what his fucking bankroll is. It's fucking rude. From one poker player to another. I'll call you out on that. But unless you're coaching them, take it all back. If you're coaching them, it's a little bit different. Because then you're, you know, but in any case, it's a story for another time. Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's not all glamour. But yeah, what Corey's doing is great because he's building up subscriber count. He's, you know, playing the game of YouTube, which is great. I just give the kid mad props. I wish I knew how to do it. You know, I'm working on it. But, yeah, for those of you who are like debating, should I quit my job and go play? Find yourself a game that you can profit off of. And it doesn't have to be a limit game. Limit just has less variance. So as a pro, you start looking at avenues of generating income or wealth that have less variance when you start off in your career, because it's the most likely path for success. But whatever game you're playing that is profitable, it could be PLO, it could be Hold'em, it could be Limit. Build your bankroll off of that before you start expanding out. And it's really hard to do. I think the problem that most poker players, when they become professional, is they don't stay in that comfort zone long enough to build up enough of a bankroll, and they get impatient. And that's okay, because that's part of life and that's part of learning. But because most poker players, I think, become impatient or take shots too early or have just really poor money management skills, which a lot of them have really bad money management skills. Yeah, be patient. Stick with the game that's printing money the easiest for the longest. Just accept the fact you'll probably go broke at least once, and yeah, that you'll hate poker at least once a month. At least once a month. Yeah. But yeah, if it really gets to you, don't take your life. Don't do that. That's like folding in life. Like if you do that, that's folding. Don't do that. And my deepest sorrows for the Kapoor family. So I guess it hits home close to me because I've been there. So play smart, everybody.